It's going down. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Inflation in Germany, highest since reunification. October is the second straight month with a double-digit indicator, officials' figure shows. So not looking too good for Germany, you see. And let me tell you this too, you know, of course, we know the main reason why World War II started was so them small hats could find some kind of justification into going into the land of Israel in the year 1948. But a part of the reason why World War II started was because a lot of these countries were suffering from a depression. Some countries was undergoing a Great Depression, while some countries was going through a depression. Now, a depression is worse than a recession. You see, a recession is when a country starts to suffer from high unemployment rates. The GDP, the gross domestic production, starts to drop. Businesses starts to close down, and ultimately the currency of that country starts to collapse because it starts to lose its value through mass printing. So what's happening here is that these countries are suffering from inflation through mass printing, even though we know that the so-called elites of this society, they are responsible for the inflation of these different currencies. So these currencies in these different countries, we got France going through inflation. We got Britain going through inflation. We got Athens, Greece going through inflation. We got Germany going through inflation. We got America going through inflation. So why is all these countries going through inflation so suddenly? Well, Revelation 12 verse 12, the devil know he has but a short time to rule. So these so-called elites, they know they have but a short time. So what they're doing is that they are purposely, systematically crashing the currencies of these different countries. Why? So they can bring in a new kind of currency, which will be the CHIP, the CHIP, which is the MOTB, the market of you-know-what, the Charagma. Okay? So it's no coincidence that Germany is now suffering from an inflation. It's no coincidence. So all this is leading to the MOTB agenda, the CHIP agenda, the grain the size of a grain of rice, the device the size of a grain of rice. Okay, Germany's annual inflation rate jumped to 10.4% in October, exceeding expectations and hitting new historic highs. Okay, the Federal Statistical Office, the statist, said in a press release on Friday, at 10.4%, the inflation rate has reached an all-time high since German reunification. The head of the agency's Dr. George Diel said. Okay, according to Diel, enormous price rises for energy products continue to be the main reason. And there's been energy crisis going on everywhere. You got an energy crisis in Europe, in France. Okay? And now you got people down there in Athens, Greece, that are protesting because of the cost of living prices. And why is all this going on? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? So if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which is a fulfillment of Genesis the 27th chapter, then who has control over the whole world today? The so-called elites do. Starting with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the top devils on the planet. Okay? It says, according to Dayel, enormous price rises for energy products continue to be the main reason. Okay? Energy prices were 43% higher in October 2022, which was last month. Then at the same time last year, data shows with a particularly large price increase for household energy up 55%, natural gas prices more than doubled compared to last year, up 109%. So the price on everything is going up. Oil, gas, food, the cost of living, energy. And as a result, people are out there protesting, they're crying, they're mourning, they're rioting. And why is that? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Energy food prices show the biggest growth, rising 20.3% year on year, with higher prices seen in all food groups, excluding energy prices. The inflation rate stood at 6.5%. If both energy and food are excluded, it's even lower at 5%. Okay? Compared to September, energy prices were up 3.4% and food prices were up 1.3%. Okay, let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them? Against who? Against the Edomites. Okay, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation and people. And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Okay, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now we know that word clay goes back to the Hebrew word ibatyat, which means depth. Let's look it up anyway for edification's sake. Then I'll read it in the NLT version. Okay? Okay, ibatyat. As you see right there. It says weight of pleasures, heavy depths. Okay, you want to know why these countries are also going through inflations? Because they're in debt. But the biggest country that has the highest debt of all the countries in the world is the United States of America. Okay, the United States of America is over $30 million in debt. But then people wonder why gas prices are going up, food prices are going up here in America. The cost of living is going up here in America. You wonder why. Okay, so let's look up. Let me see how long. Increase of that which is not his. Let's see. These take up a parable. Let's look up the word parable, which is masal or mashal. Mashal, as you see right there. Proverb, parable, proverb, saying, aphorism, byword, similitude, a poem, sentence of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims. Okay, so you got bywords, you got proverbial sayings, and that's what people do when people protest and riot. When people protest and riot, they say proverbial things like reduce the energy costs. They might hold up some signs with the president, with the president on the sign. You know, they might have some proverbial saying on the protest sign. Bywords. They might call their presidents and their mayors names. They might call them imposters. They might call them, deceivers, misleaders. Those are all bywords, proverbs. And that's what people are doing. They're taking a stance against the corruption of this society, and that's really the Lord dividing Satan against himself. Because a lot of those people protesting in France and Britain, a lot of them are Edomites. A lot of them people protesting down there in Athens, Greece, a lot of them are Edomites. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Okay. And a taunting proverb. Let's look up taunting proverb. Let's look at the word taunting. Okay. Mala ya I. Mala ya I. Mala ya I. No, that's Mala ya Aya. Mala ya Aya. Okay. No. Excuse me. That's Mala ya Ta. Mala Yataza. Mala Yataza. There we go. It's Mala Yataza. I've mistook that character for the I sound. It's Mala Yataza. Mala Yataza. Okay, and here we have satire, we have mocking poem, and that's what people do when they protest. They mock their leaders. Mocking song, taunting, figure, enigma. So now let's go back. Okay, so shall not all these take up a parable against them? So now we know this is talking about protests and riots. People are protesting because of the oppression and all the hell that's being put on them. And a taunting proverb against them and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Right? Which is that debt. Inflation comes from a country that's in debt. You over here printing all this money. Okay, and then you have to pay it back, which causes you to print more and more money, which causes your currency to lose more value and to further inflate. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. Okay, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Are the righteous in authority? Are the people of the world rejoicing? Are the cedar trees rejoicing? Is the grass rejoicing? Are the insects rejoicing? Are the mice and the rodents, the marsupials, are they rejoicing? Are the dogs and cats and wolves and lions and tigers and bears and all manner of beasts of the field, are they rejoicing? Are the birds of the air rejoicing? What about the sea creatures? Are they rejoicing? The answer is no. Everything, even the earth, is in mourning. So the righteous are not in authority. Who are the righteous? The Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. But there you go. The wicked is in rulership. And that's starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation and people. They're the wicked. And the reason why the whole earth is in mourning is because the so-called elites, starting with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, they have control over the whole world. And they're doing all manner of injustices and wickedness in the whole earth. So with that, I'm going to say, Shalom is on to the next one.